Welcome to the Sirius Cipher, where the spiritually minded gather, recognizing the real, peeping the game, decoding the signs and symbols, and chopping up this spiritual knowledge. We out here. There's some real gangsters in these streets, lighting this bitch up. For real, for real.
Peace, light, and love, everybody. Thank you all for connecting with us, getting with the Sirius Cipher. We in the house, we in the house. So I want to start off with the cipher rules where we are definitely going to try to make sure not only are we respectful of everybody's time, but we're going to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to get their truths in. And so, with that, I'm going to ask that if you got to speak and you're already muted, I think I'm not really sure if I have the ability to unmute. I think I can ask you to unmute, but I can't unmute you. So, you'll have to unmute yourself. Okay. And if there's a thought that's coming through while somebody's talking, just go ahead and raise your hand. Or if there's nobody waiting behind them, you definitely got next. It's always the order of raised hands so that we can make sure that everybody's getting their turn in. And then instead of the 2 minutes that I was given, it's all dependent upon how many individuals are participating in the cipher at that particular time, right? So I'm going to say right now, we got a few of us in here and spirit is high. I can feel it. So definitely go for yours, get your point across and everything. Because I really am feeling this whole energy of temperance. What a divine time it is indeed. And so I wanted to check in real quick with everyone. And I know that we got a lot of retrogrades that's going on. We got Mercury in retrograde. Right now it's in Virgo. Tomorrow it's shifting over into Libra. Happy equinox, everybody in the house. The autumn equinox is in effect. We got Pluto's in retrograde. That's in Capricorn until the 8th of October. Saturn is in retrograde, which is in the Knower Aquarius until October the 23rd. We got Neptune in retrograde in Pisces until December. We got Jupiter in retrograde in Aries until October the 28th. We got Uranus in retrograde in Taurus until January. And we got Chiron, the wounded healer in Aries until December 23rd. So there's a lot going on. This energy is really it's really been impacting me in a special way. A lot of growth has been coming through. And then we also got this new moon in Libra that's coming up on the 25th. The 25th is what? Sunday, Monday? But that's coming up soon. So we got a lot of high energy going on. So I wanted to just stop across the board. We got a couple of us on deck today. We got the Divine Priestess and the Priestess Kavina on deck. The priestesses is showing up. And I wanted to check in. Divine Priestess, how you doing?
Hello. Hey. Hey, ladies. We're good on this side. Happy to be here.
All right. Giving thanks out in these space. Divine Priestess in the house. I see.
Yeah, I had to step to the light. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. I was sitting there listening to everything you were saying with the retrogrades, and I'm just like, dang, it's real out here. It's real. But I'm here. Everybody's good. Everything's going good. Couldn't ask for more.
Word. And I definitely want to give a shout out. Thank the supports again, because we definitely called on them before we get the recording session started and everything. And so moving forward, I wanted to see, is anybody with this energy the way that it is right about now? Is anybody getting any messages, channels, or downloads that they would like to share that might be significant right about now for us? Not to talk.
I can tell you, oh, sorry,
Go
can you
ahead,
hear me?
please.
I
Yeah.
can tell you that lately my dreams, and when I say lately, I mean like maybe the last 3, 4 days, it has been water. Drink your water. Mm. I don't know the best way to say it, but I think a lot of people need to hold off on whatever they're drinking and triple up on your water intake. That's
That's
I just keep seeing dried up land and people dying of thirst, and I'm like, gotta amp up this water intake.
mm, mm. That's powerful. That's really powerful. Yeah. And and that goes in alignment with this energy we're talking about, which is temperance. And temperance is all about learning to bring about balance, patience, and moderation in our lives. This is that energy about us avoiding extremes, remaining calm, and finding the center. And so then we got the priestess that's having these dreams with this water intake and the water drying up. And we already know about how the water is connected to not only that the emotions, right? And so with all of these planets and the way that everything's structured, with everything being in retrograde, and then we're shifting this Mercury retrograde into Libra, which is really that energy that connects us to our relationships. And also it's that energy of a balance too, right? And so when she's talking about this water energy, I thought that was really profound, because I had a dream that I was just standing in the rain, and I'm not really sure what to make of that, because we had a death in the family. You know, my brother-in-law passed away, ashe to him. And so I'm standing in the rain, and I'm not bothered by it. I'm just standing in the rain, whatever. So emotional times is how I interpreted that, is going about and everything. So this is just like a really powerful time. And so let's talk about this whole energy of temperance and bringing about balance. Are we seeing that out here in these cosmic streets right about now? And what are your thoughts on how we can work with this energy of temperance so that we can ascend and move forward? Well, I'm gonna set it off.
Hello.
All right, go ahead, because I'm about to say I'll set it the hell off. Let's go. Let's get it.
One download that has been coming to me a lot
Uh-huh.
in the last couple of weeks has been grace. You know, and there's and no and also this I've been having like these Western dreams of, you remember how they used to do the shootout, where it was like you would have your back to each other and you would walk so many paces and then you turn around and you shoot. And I've been having this replay for a couple of weeks, and I'm like, why a Western movie? I hate Westerns. But it reminded me of knowing when to hold and knowing when to fold, you know. And before, so that's something for me that this last part of the year that has been coming through really heavy is don't pop off when I think it's time. Do it when I'm actually don't think it's time. And that's actually been working really interesting. And also still doing it with grace. showing grace. And that's something that's been coming through for me. Is there's so much going on in the world. There's so much anger. There's so much hatred happening. Everybody is arguing. Every time I turn around, somebody is arguing. Somebody's getting into a road rage. I mean, every time you turn around. So my thing has been, the thing I've been getting is grace and knowing when to hold and knowing when to fold.
That's deep and powerful too. And then I wanted to talk about patience. Out of this book right here, I'm telling you, this book has been a powerful ally and guide. I don't know, can you guys see that? I'm noticing that it's not really coming up with this background and everything, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. But anyway, this is the Modern Witchcraft Book of Tarot, and this is like a complete guide to understanding tarot. So I've been teaching myself this whole tarot system and studying with that. And so I thought it was really interesting that Spirit led me to really work with the energies in the tarot system during the cipher. However, temperance, my bad, is it talks about it here, and it says in some decks, the figure is pouring liquid, which is the elixir of life, from a golden vessel into a silver one in a continuous stream, suggesting the interplay of the material and spiritual worlds. The word vessel relates to the great mother goddess of antiquity, and the human body is often referred to as the vessel of the soul. Thus, both the angelic figure and the cups are symbolic in reference to this feminine force. And then it goes on to talk about the essence of what temperance is all about, which is patience in all things. It says the word temperance derives from the Latin temperare, which means to moderate, blend, or mix together harmoniously. Interestingly, this card was named Time in many early decks, which provides a key to the underlying meaning. Temperance encourages patience, that things happen in their own pace and in their own time. And this is one of the great lessons of the Zen masters. There are times when nothing can be done and nothing needs to be done. And I thought, I'm going to tell y'all something. It laid me the hell out, because I'm taking self-invested classes, and self-invested is a mystery school system where you really invest in yourself. You roll your sleeves up, you get this work in, and shout out to Miss Blue and Brother Bilal for laying that down for us and everything. And we have been working with a lot of principles. And one of the principles that I've been that I pulled to work with at this particular time has been the divine time. And this one is more about making sure that we know that everything happens when it's supposed to, and that is pride that makes us force things. And then I turn around, mess around, fuck around, and pick the temperance card. And I thought, okay, look like your girl got some work to do in these streets. And so with that, I said, oh, let's get it cracking. Let's bring this down here to the cipher. Let's build with this one right here, because clearly this is a time where we really need to look at this. And so I want to talk about this picture that I just put up here in the background. Quantum Lion's daughter sent me this picture of the Snake Queen. It made her think about me. And this little girl right here is so powerful, so insightful. When she sent me that, I started getting all of these downloads of all of this work that I need to do. And so with the snake, we know that the snake is connected to transformation. And then we got these green energies, the flowers and all of that. And this right here was all about, for me, and how I'm getting this information as this heart chakra energy, and me really getting into alignment and really connecting to that true essence of temperance, which is harmony, balance, and moderation. And so I've been going back into a lot of old meditations that, I mean, I'm pulling out the old 2011 meditations, right? Where I was working with Kundalini yoga. I'm bringing that shit back. I don't know how I slipped on that. I stopped dealing with that. I think the whole pandemic, that whole situation kind of threw me off of the square with that. I got a lot of victory with that. And then this Cobra meditation, where you really work with this transformative energy, and it helps you to deal with some of those energy we call shadow energies and really transform it in the light so that you can use it and kind of ascend forward and everything. And so when all of that came to me and she brought that, I thought, whoa, this little girl is gangster, a little priestess, no doubt about it. And bringing all of this information that came through, and that's just like some of it. I mean, I ain't trying to bore nobody with all of the downloads that I got on this particular picture that this child drew for me, but I really got a lot out of it. And so I definitely wanted to shout out with that. I got, you know what I'm saying? And the goddess Shakti came through. And I started hearing the serpentine fire by earth, wind, and fire. And I started realizing, like, yeah, I think the spirit's really trying to send me a message that I need to get back on these Kundalini meditations and really start moving a lot of this energy that's stagnant, especially in the heart chakra, because I'm the type of motherfucker that can be fuck this, fuck them, and fuck you, and be good with that. Like, that's just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just wired like that sometimes. And so just being able to move past that, because I'm feeling that heat in the moment. That ain't how, you know what I'm saying, I really feel in my heart, but that's how I'm feeling in the moment. And so just being able to move past that energy and work with that transformative energy was extremely powerful for me. So I'm like, oh, but let's talk about the space that we in these cosmic streets out here. I don't know if anybody heard about Dwayne Wade's little, his child. And it was a little boy and decided on making the transition to female. And regardless of where anybody stand with that, I got a lot of issues with that, especially in the reference of temperance, because we get into this all the way on one side or all the way on the other side type of mentality. But now we've gotten to a space, because I love the way and the direction that we've been going in, right? We're in the direction of more love and acceptance of people. You can love whoever in the hell you want to. It ain't none of my business what in the hell you finna do on your free time at this particular time in life. We ain't got time for them games, right? But then we have moved it over into, okay, this is the way that I feel, so you need to just get on board with how I feel. Okay, whatever. You get to do what you want to, your life. But now we moving further and further into a space where we're letting children dictate major life changes. And I got a problem with that. I got a big problem with that. And this ain't no hate. I ain't got time for that shit, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time for that shit. But I do got a problem. And if you want to say that it's hate, then let's get it. But I do got a problem with somebody giving a child the authority to change who they came into in this world at such a young age. And I know that the work and the science is out there, but I'm telling y'all, I'm struggling with this. And it looks like we kind of moved out of that center space that I'm talking about, where we have gotten into a space where we get so extreme in everything we do out here in these streets. Extreme. And now it's getting out of control because they don't want nobody saying shit. And we got to keep our mouth closed, because we got this fucking society now that tells us that we got to follow the program. And if you disagree, then you against everybody. Like we ain't allowed to think for ourselves out here in these streets. And ain't nobody allowed to speak up for what's true in their hearts no more. And I think we're losing our way. And I think, in my humble opinion, that we're starting to see so many of these extremes that is starting to disturb me. Is anybody seeing this energy of extremity that's starting to show up in this world? And what are your thoughts on it?
Okay, I first I wasn't gonna be first up, but okay, I'm gonna jump in there. Extremity is what I consider to be a soft way of putting this, because to your point, sis, um, the things we're seeing right now, number one, it's unprecedented. It's never happened before. But one of the things that really got me on my square is this approved learning thing they sent out in Texas. Uh, how old are you in second grade? What are you, about 8, 7, 7 years
Right?
old?
Yeah, 7, 8
Yeah,
years old. Yeah.
yeah, 7, 8 years old. They have approved for all second graders in Texas and in Wisconsin to learn about porn comfortability. These children are watching porn and learning how to talk about it with their teachers. And I said, oh, hell no. So for me, the extremity, like I get, like I'm so tired of the programming with the I feel like a woman, I feel like a I'm so sick of this shit. It don't
Mm,
even make no sense. Because to me, I don't know what it's like to be a tree. So I can't just walk around and say I feel like a fucking tree.
right,
And if I do, the IRS ain't gonna honor it. They still gonna want their money because I'm still going out here doing work and stuff, right?
right,
It's like you can't feel like something you've never been.
right.
Personal opinion, this is just where I stand on it.
Yeah, yeah,
You can't tell me to call you a him, her, they, or whatever when if you died right now, your death certificate would say what your DNA said you were.
right,
God always has the final say so. So you could be walking around here with your little dresses on or your little beards and all of that other stuff. At the end of the day, when you die, that death certificate is not going to have your preference. And you are not going into the afterlife with them heels on or with your beard or whatever that you took all them supplements over here to have, right? Like you're not going to have that.
right.
But the way, like for me, it's all about an agenda, and this is why I wanted to speak on the
Mm,
extremity of things
mm,
because in American culture, well, let's not even say American culture, in America's borders, things are allowed here that are completely illegal or disbanded in other countries.
yeah.
And all of this sexuality and all of that, over sexualizing the kids and overstimulating. Who the hell woke up one day and said, you know what, mom, I feel like a little girl? And what was that conversation like?
Right.
Like, you don't have no big cousins or something? Why do you feel like a girl? We didn't just say, because one of the books, I'm sorry, this may seem like a tangent or a runoff, but it's not. But
No.
one of the books that was in the curriculum that they were showing was my princess boy. And I was like, how could you as a mother, right? The first teacher, hear your son say that he feels like a girl and you embrace that.
Mm,
Because, see, when you spoke on Dwayne Wade, I said it's real funny that nobody's talking to Zara's mother. I don't even remember what his name was before it was Zara. Nobody's talking to her anymore because she said, I didn't give birth to no girl. That's my son. And I refuse to take part in this. They paraded
wow.
my child around. Yeah, she went in. And I was like,
Wow.
whoa. Nobody's talked to her since then. And she's been to court and everything because she is not okay with this. And I was like, yo, I feel her.
Right.
because when Zara, quote unquote, came to her and was like, I feel like a girl, she was like, oh, nah, you don't, because you don't know what it's like. If you like lip gloss, that's different. Don't tell me you feel like a girl. She took that boy to counseling and everything, and he was just like dead set on called me, you know, Zara and all this other stuff. And she was like, nah, we don't do that. And I was like, wow. So I kind of stood with her on that because I was like, I understand that. You know what I mean? Like, as a mother, my son couldn't come to me and say, I feel like a girl without me trying to get to the bottom of it. You know what I mean? But
Absolutely.
here in America, we have so many band aids. We are a band aid culture. We're not a curing culture. See, the cure get to the root of the problem, fix the root, and watch the tree blossom.
Mm,
We just want to stick band-aids on everything. Oh, it'll be all right. It'll be okay. Oh, you won't call her because that's how Dwayne Wade even got custody of that little girl. Boy, what I don't know, whatever.
right.
Um, is because uh the mother was trying to get to the root of the problem, and the therapist was like, well, you should just let him know that's not what we're going to do. And Dwayne Wade was like, well, we must respect this fact. And she was like, nah, we don't. And it was like,
Wow.
yo, the way this whole thing is playing out, like I'm going to the root of the story, not just, what they put in the headlines. And I'm just like, yo, the way we do things in this society, we don't heal anything. We don't cure anything. We
Mm,
just put the band-aid on and charge you for the band-aid and then keep reapplying band-aids.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh,
And you know what? I hear you. And this is where my biggest issue is, because whatever it is that we stand on, that we got ourselves in such a space where ain't nobody allowed to disagree. Ain't nobody allowed to see shit differently. Who's this
say
here?
it
But
again.
it's a crazy world. Dante, can you unmute your microphone? Because I see your hand up. I think that's your hand.
Hello.
Yup, there you go. Peace, brother. What's up?
Oh, no, my hand went up by accident that time. Not the first
Oh,
show. I mean, not last show, but yeah. How
right.
y'all doing?
We good. We good. We just sitting up here. We chopping it up and everything. I thought you had something to add into it.
No, I'll add something though, just because no such thing as accidents, right? So since that
Absolutely.
happened, I'm gonna just add that yeah, basically it's always darkest before the dawn. We all heard that
Mm,
hella time. So
mm,
since the world has been programmed all this time by the TV, basically, the TV and socially and what neighborhood you in, everything is programming you now. So now that all these like millionaire people like turning over millionaires and millionaires and millionaires, they want to control that, the illusion of wealth. So
mm,
that's why I don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole or whatever, but there's a lot of even getting on as an artist, like a hip hop artist or whatever kind of artist, if you're black, like if it's a hip hop or R&B artist,
mm,
they're going to try things for sure. So they want to control the stars, and when you control the stars, you have an effect on everybody. So the stars are affecting the kids. And then the kids
mm.
have access to the phones. So it's not like you can walk in your house and say, turn that shit off the TV. What are you doing? The kid got a phone.
Right.
So it's just programming. They're just programming for the future and trying to turn everybody who can be divine and like, limitless, trying to limit them and basically pervert them at a young age.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, for sure there were kids that were like that though, and they just stuck with it. Like you're not changing them. Like they came out like that, saying I feel like a girl. Now you seeing all these celebrities do all this sketchy stuff, and they might not have. It might have been a straight celebrity, You know, what's that dude, that light skinned dude's name? I think he was straight first.
Mm.
From New Orleans, that light skinned dude, the rapper, and freak out Rich, I remember his name, but he be talking about eating booty. Like
Oh
he
wow.
he started there. So
Okay.
he started there though, and he started it in a way where he slowly slipped it in. Like all his characteristics and all of that, you can see femininity all through him. But he's saying he's a heterosexual male, and he got damn, I can't remember his name. I'm gonna put it in the comments when you if you post this on YouTube. I'm gonna put his name there. Y'all gonna say, "Oh, him."
Okay.
But basically, yeah, he started off with "I eat my woman's duty," and he just
Uh,
keeps saying that. And real men do that, and that's how we get down and all this. If you just pay attention to his entire character, you know it's. I'm not interested in that. Like
right.
I'm a heterosexual male. I'm not interested in that. So don't tell me you a real man or you more freakier than the next or I'm gonna do what the next man won't do. You're slipping subliminal messages that that is okay, and that's not okay. Like I
Wow.
got a I got a brother who has a foot fetish on a strange level. Like it's okay to like feet, but he was I'm not even gonna just put all his business out there. I ain't gonna say
Right.
his name. I ain't gonna do nothing. But that's leaning towards like y'all said, extreme perversion. Like what the fuck you mean? A random woman in the store, he told me a story about that. Like, oh, me and this dude had a contest to see who could suck her feet the better. I want to tell him, and I never told him, and never gonna tell him, because I'm gonna just leave it where it's at. But those are little, excuse me, those are little phalluses, bro. Like, I don't care what you say; those are tiny phalluses. What that reminds you of?
Absolutely.
Like that don't remind you
Absolutely.
of, that don't remind you of what you're missing, and what you're missing is a vajayjay. So naturally, you should be wanting what you're missing. Men got feet. So what's up with all the feet? What's up with all the I like booties? What's up with all that? So I don't want to talk to you forever. I just want to
It's
kind of
all, hey,
show that.
listen, yeah, that was a powerful contribution because, yeah, that's a way for us to get out of that energy. In temperance, we talking about being out of balance. And and when you start moving from being a highly sexual being into perversion, you done stepped
Like why?
into
How
a
does
whole
he?
nother
They.
realm.
I'm saying like the
Absolutely.
kids shouldn't. They shouldn't be interested in anything really like determining their sexuality until probably right when you get around puberty. Because
Right,
that's when you say my hormones, I don't feel like chasing that. That should be the
right.
age where you have the right to question, but you don't just jump. It's different. This ain't even reality. What I'm living in is not reality.
Whole
It's
nother
just not.
level.
It's
Whole
not
nother level.
a
Hold up.
whole
I
nother.
see Priestess Kavina got her hand up in the house. Okay, Priestess, let's see what you got the building on that with.
Well, it's so interesting that you bring this topic up because it has become a part of my family's Sunday meeting topics.
Mm,
And we actually have a part of our agenda that we talk about sexuality because, in my personal opinion, as a heterosexual and very gender specific individual, um, there's an attack on heterosexual relationships
mm,
and body growth of body. And what's happening is my children are being enamored and over flooded with being sensitive to homosexuals that it, that they are missing out on themselves, and that bothers me. Again, this is not, I don't care about who you have sex with because I agree with the brother Dante that just spoke. Like growing up, my best friend since pre-K, we're still friends to this day. He's always been like me.
mm,
Like I remember when we got dressed in a bathroom together and everybody was freaking out, but he was born like that. But
mm,
his mother put him in clothes, male clothes, our entire lives. He did not change his name. And my close friend, he lives a very open life. But like the brother was mentioning, he didn't find himself saying, "I don't like vagina" until we were in high school. So he still had the time to find out who he was as a male to say, I do like other men. I don't like other men. And I feel like the children in this generation, they're not getting that opportunity to really learn themselves and to understand where they are, what their body is saying. And then when puberty does hit, they automatically think, oh, I'm really into this lifestyle. And it's not that you're into the lifestyle, it's more so you're ignorant to your own internal functioning. So, like, my daughter came home with a homosexual book that a friend gave her, and it was man on man love book. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm
Wow.
spending all this money to send you to school. What the hell?
Right.
But in talking about it, I had to let her know, do you realize the word homosexuality, heterosexuality, that's talking about sex? Are you ready to have sex? She says, no. So there's no point of us actually indulging into this. I want to know, when do you get emotionally funky? Is it around the new moon or the full moon? If you cannot tell me that, we don't need to be talking about fucking, period.
Right.
If you
Right.
don't know what your hormones are doing when the moon is waxing and waning, when we're having these eclipses, half of the year our blood starts to circulate opposite. Do you know when that happens?
Right.
Do you understand when that happens? So for me, it's not even a matter of Dwayne Wade allowing his child to change his name. It's, does the child know themselves to where they really know their molecular structure and how it functions? Or are they just
Absolutely.
jumping into another skin because they just feel awkward in the one they're in?
Absolutely. And that's
So
where my
that's what I have to
concern
say.
is. Right. And
Yeah.
that's where my concern is because I
Yeah.
feel like in order for us to be able, it's hard to remain calm and hold this principle of temperance when you start messing with our babies. And see, it's not even an issue about whether or not the boy want to wear a dress and lipstick and all of this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? At this point in his life, whatever. Where I'm at right there, I'm gonna have to pull out, you know what I'm saying, my authority card and say, hold up, you know what I'm saying? Because where my concern is that has a child reached the level of maturity to make a call like that? And so I talked to another person a few years ago when we talked about this whole gender reassignment thing. And this is before we even hit the rabbit hole of them dealing with children. One of my colleagues was telling me that his wife teaches, I think she teaches what, the second grade. And there was a child that was there that, you know, decided that he wanted to become a little girl. And so, you know, she had to come up with a whole new system of getting them to the bathroom and everything. And my thing is that can a child at the age of 7 or even at this age make an executive decision like this to completely change who they are sexually? Like we're talking about, and what the conversation led to is that we got to get it before they reach puberty. Because if they want a gender reassignment and they go into puberty, the damage has been done and it's more difficult for them to transition from male to female or female to male after pubescence has set in. And so it makes the shift over a lot more difficult and challenging. But then the other flip side is what about the mental capacity? We already have like different laws in criminal justice for children that commit like horrific crimes. They don't get charged as an adult because they understand that a child's mind isn't fully developed. So how in the hell can you give a child this type of power and authority over a situation like this instead of trying to teach them to live in the skin that they're in? I think that we're moving in the wrong direction of an extreme to where we're moving from showing everybody love and acceptance for who they are. Because I love you. Don't get it twisted. But I think we going in the wrong damn direction because I don't see how we can't let the child smoke, drink, but we can introduce them to a sexual experience and they haven't even we know that how the chakra system is developed from birth to age 7 is the base chakra. From 7 to 14 is the sexual, the sacral chakra development. You know what I'm saying? So we moving into these years, but we're introducing these children to a lot of concepts that they're not really mentally ready for. They're not spiritually ready for. And I think we in trouble doing that shit. I think we're heading in a different direction that's going to take us to a whole nother extreme. But I don't want to spend that whole time just going in that, because I also want to talk about the number significance of temperance, which is the number 14, and 4 and 1 is 5. And 5 is all about change, movement. You know what I'm saying? And this is really all about us really suggesting that the energy that we're in needs to shift, needs to transform, needs to move. And then we see all of these extremes in our behaviors. Like nobody can do, no one has this center point. And I know y'all heard about that My Pillow guy who is locked into that what is that MAGA mentality, right? And you know what I'm saying? And he's an avid Trump supporter, and we know that he was talking about Blue Lives Matter, and he was very dismissive of Black Lives Matter and wanted to support the guy that went out there and shot up the place and all of this other foolishness I heard about. And so a lot of folks stopped supporting him and everything. And apparently his beliefs has gotten him to a point where he's so out of balance that not only has he started affecting the way that his business is going, but now he's being brought up on some charges for apparently like tampering with voter machines and shit in the state that he was in or some shit like that. And so when we get into these spaces where we get extreme in our thinking, in our belief systems, and we really feel like we're behind this thought process, this mentality, we get locked in a way of thinking and we turn it into something extreme. It's like it's either all or nothing at all. And we go in and we take it to a completely different level. Is anybody seeing these extremities that's starting to show up in the world around them? Or anybody have any more information? Because I don't really know that man's life, or any more information on what the hell's going on with all of that. I'm going to talk again about this all or nothing thinking, because I think that we got a collective pathology where everybody is afraid to speak truth to power in this world. And the reason why we're afraid to speak truth to power in this world is because we got a social system that's set up to scare the hell out of you for being different, for thinking different, for looking different, for moving different. And so if you ain't, and like Brother Dante was just talking about how they get these stars up here to influence the thinking, the way to go. Take this experimental medication. We know that we don't know too much about it, but we want you to take it. And then you getting browbeat. Motherfuckers knocking on your door telling you this is what needs to happen. And they're making you feel like a social outcast. If you see that shit differently, you can't have a thought of your own. You can't have sovereignty over your own mind, over your own household. This is the space that we in right now. And nobody wants to take responsibility for their position. See, my biggest concern right now, everybody, is that we heading in a direction where we go fuck around and we go be in a space where ain't nobody gonna be allowed to say shit. I can't even really bring about all of the things that we want to bring to the table because, they'll come for me. I'm just betting on, because right now I'm kind of under the radar. There ain't that many people that's tuned into this, that I'll be able to go ahead and speak my truth before they go ahead and do what they do in these streets, right? But I don't give a shit no more, because I see we in trouble. And I'm missing the fucking point in these streets. if I'm just go sit back and watch us jump over cliffs and we following each other. See, one of these reasons why we ain't ascending out here in these streets, y'all, because nobody's taking fucking responsibility. Nobody's owning their shit. Nobody wants to fucking call shit for what it is, a spade being a spade. We want to congratulate people for their fucking dysfunction instead of encouraging them, supporting them, and loving them into becoming the better version of themselves. But we sit back and we tell people it's okay. And so now we got our kids in our educational systems and they're perverting the mentality of our children. And not just on the sexual level, on a spiritual level, because when you snatch a history away from a child and they are unaware of what the truth is in their history, or we go get rid of what is critical race theory because it's racist. Well, what the fuck you think this history was? Can we not deal with the truth in these streets? We all out of control, y'all. We all out of control. We out of order. And you toxic. And you a narcissist for speaking truths. We got women, we altering ourselves in images that don't really the fuck exist. Who wants a gigantic ass 20-pound booty? What the fuck? What's going on in these streets? Who told us that we needed to do this to ourselves? Beautiful women, I'm dropping my water and shit. Beautiful women destroying themselves. And we ain't saying shit. We congratulating them. They investing in foolishness. We're losing our way. We in
Sis, can I
trouble.
jump in here right quick? Can I jump in here right quick?
Please, jump in, sis.
Listen, you got chills going through my whole body. I agree with you on so many levels. And I actually heard a story just today. I don't know how true it is. I heard the story. I haven't looked it up yet. But I wanted you, while you were speaking on this subject, I wanted you to just take note of this as well. These young ladies went to the DR to get a BBL, you know, the big booty and all of this and big breasts. And the surgery was 3,500. Thought they was getting a deal. Came back, recuperated, but never really felt themselves. That's it, sis. They took their fucking kidneys out.
Oh God.
See what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, listen, when I say I feel you on so many levels, because we are at this spot where we are literally, and I'm saying we as a society, we are sacrificing everything valuable
Yes.
for everything sacrilegious and sacrificial, I should say, sacrificial.
Right.
Nothing about a big booty and some boobs should make you want to give up one of your organs that you need. You see what I'm saying? You getting tricked, bagged, and bamboozled, and you in so much pain left and right. You don't know what's supposed to hurt because we ain't had this before. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Black women had a different standard of beauty than white women. Now the white women are setting the standard of beauty or the beauty standard. And now nobody feels good enough. And I'm like, yo, we didn't took on their mental illness.
Thank you.
Like real talk, we
Right.
we as a society are operating because even when you said that critical race theory, it's like, oh, you don't want to talk about how we got here.
Right. What the
But
hell?
you just want to, right, you want to keep pushing these agendas, and that's not okay, man. Listen, when Beyonce had this song out years ago, Pretty Hurts, that's where we at right now.
Mm,
To me, that's where we at right now. She
absolutely.
said the soul need the surgery.
Mm,
You know how many of us out
mm,
here are hurting on the soul level? But
mm.
since we only taught the Christianity and Islam and Buddhism and Jewish, Lord knows half the people walking around here just feel like they can't be Jewish just because of their race.
Right.
It's like, come on, y'all. It's the soul that needs the surgery.
Right.
We need to go inside. Stop looking in these fucked up mirrors.
Right.
Stop looking through these filters.
Right.
We are at a point where our children, listen, there's a documentary on Netflix right now called The Social Dilemma. These little kids, and the girl rate is higher than the boys rate, but the girls are killing themselves at a 38% from the ages of 13 to 16 because they don't look like the little hookers on Instagram. And I'm like, fuck, the people on Instagram don't look like the Instagram. You know what I
Thank you.
mean?
Thank you.
It's like, dog, they don't see that it's these filters, and we have all of this numbing.
Right.
There's literally a numbing
Right.
happening. And it's like, yo, the soul needs the surgery. Can you sit down and talk to your children and let them know it's okay to not be fucking perfect? Slim,
Right.
don't, yo, I tell my son all the time, any of my kids will tell you, Slim, don't put me on no fucking pedestal
Right.
because I'm human. I'm
Right.
gonna fuck up. I'm gonna make a decision that I made. First of all, we as parents, and this is culturally, socially, society wise, you can only make a decision from your level of knowledge.
Right.
So I don't know what it's like to grow up in your time. So help me help you. This
Thank
shit sound retarded to me, but I
Absolutely.
didn't grow up in this time. You feel me? I'm 26 years older than you, son.
Absolutely.
Slim,
Absolutely.
that's almost 30 fucking years. You know what happened in them 3 decades? A lot of
Right.
shit.
A lot. A lot.
a
Absolutely.
lot, a lot. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Like we gotta teach each other for real, because I see adults sometimes that can't communicate with each other. And it's like, "Dawg, you didn't learn how to not only communicate appropriately, you didn't learn how to comprehend. And instead of you taking a step back saying, oh, this is what I heard, let me make sure I'm responding correctly, you just automatically, nah, man, fuck, da, 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 da. Whoa, what's the pop off for?
Right.
You know? And it's been so many times, man, the soul needs the surgery. That I just wanted to tap in with you on that one because we fucked up out here.
We all fucked up. We all fucked up. I'm here to tell you. I'm here to say, and listen, and I'm saying this in love, because we can fix this if we just live true. See, where our problem is, this whole temperance principle is connected to Jupiter, which is all about our expansion, which is all about our growth, right? Jupiter brings about this energy for us to really examine shit for what it is. That don't mean that we necessarily agree on it. But when we start getting into areas of extreme, that's when we know we got a big problem here. And I'm going right back to what this brother Dante was just saying. They will pay a celebrity to show you the way to go, to show you the way to go. Because Dr. Joy Leary talked about this in post-traumatic slave disorder, where she was talking about ever-present anger, vacant esteem, and racist socialization. This is what makes post-traumatic slave disorder real in effect. And what we got right here is vacant esteem. Because we gonna allow any motherfucker to tell us who we are and how we need to roll and how it needs to go down. And my concern is now they starting to come for our babies. And it ain't even about telling these babies that you can't feel the way that you feel, you can't live the way that you feel. It's about the introduction to things before their time. It's about divine timing. Because like the principle that I'm working with talks about, when you force it, you stepping into that pride energy. And so right about now, we look at how out of balance all of us are in dealing with this whole energy, whether it's a fear-based, let's go along and get along, whether it's we immersed in the energy of the culture that tells us that we need to move in all of these extremities and perversions and extreme behaviors where we feel like we believe in what we talking about politically. Let me shoot this motherfucker up to make a point. You know what I'm saying? That's the mentality we got. I'm gonna kill up everybody in here that disagree. You know what I'm saying? We need to stop that. We done lost our mind. It's out of control in these streets. So I wanted to talk about maybe some of these things that we can use, these tools, these energies that we can work with and navigate in that. And Spirit gave me the aventurine, because the aventurine helps to work in restoring balance. And I pulled this from my cards of wellness, of cards of well-being deck. And it has on here this aventurine. Hold up, let me read this real quick before I call it up out. The aventurine is therapeutic in the sense of motor block, stroke, or trauma. It also, on the emotional tip, removes and releases excessively rigid mental schemes and obstinacy. It combats lack of mental flexibility and restores balance to crowded places and makes them receptive. We got to make sure in these streets, because we already know that there's so many thoughts that's floating around in what Miss Blue called these cosmic streets. I call them these spiritual streets, whatever you deal with it, however you see it. But we got all of these energies going around. A lot of these thoughts ain't ours. See, we really pick up on the energy at where we're vibrating at. And if we get ourselves into this energy of temperance and begin to shift and get ourselves balanced and avoid these extremes, we can assist ourselves in raising our frequency so that we don't get ourselves caught up in all of these thoughts that's out here. And what do we call that, priestess? It was it cosmic hoeing, right? Out here in these streets.
Yep.
Cosmic hoeing. Well, we just out here just jumping on the thoughts, the processes of everything. But listen, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. I want to thank you all so much, because we can sit around and I can sit and spin on how out of balance this shit is and how out of pocket it is. We be in trouble. We be in these streets. I can do it. But I'm going to say that in respects to all of that, we got a crystal, the aventurine, that I'm putting out there in these streets that we definitely need to work with. But I want to encourage everybody to sit with their spirits, sit with their spirit guides, their spiritual supports, and really begin to work with this energy of temperance. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. We in a space where we so out of balance right now, we got to recalibrate. And this is our opportunity to do that. This is our opportunity for us to shift and to be true to who we truly and really are. We on our square. And that don't mean that we got no hate for nobody out here in these streets, and we go tell somebody the way to live and all of this other bullshit. We get to have our own thoughts, and we get to show love and embrace all of those folks at the end of the day. Into the center, indeed. Peace and light, y'all. Peace and love. Thank you so much for kicking it with me again today on this Sirius cipher. Let me see. Where my Sirius? Peace, y'all. Peace and light, y'all. Peace and love. Thank you so much, everybody. Divine Priestess, Mr. Dante, Aquarius Moon, and Priestess Kavina. Thank you all so much for joining me. Peace and light. Peace and love.